At one time, Minnesota was 1/3 prairie. Settlers brought seeds from the east, and out in the prairie, they seemed to thrive. So it was a resource to be exploited. It's very humbling to know that less than 2% of that original prairie landscape remains today. But now, through the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, it's the citizens of Minnesota that said, we value prairie and we want it to be here for generations to come.
Now, we take the meter sticks, you slide it along the pink. Perfect. Tallgrass prairies are some of the most endangered ecosystems on the planet. But they stabilize the soil, mitigate flood control, filter the water. They provide a lot of carbon storage, and they really help increase the diversity of habitat for wildlife. Here at the Regional Science Center, the 300 acres that Minnesota State owns, we use this site for field activities and research activities with our university students. And we have been involved in K-12 education for many decades, doing small-scale prairie restoration with 3rd graders and 5th graders.
Small pockets of prairie still exist, but the prairie was a continuous landscape. It was not little pockets. And the Minnesota Prairie Conservation Plan directs the state of Minnesota to protect our prairie landscape. Connect the dots is one of the strategies, and our site out at the Science Center, we're one of those dots.
The Regional Science Center has a variety of habitats, some that are amazing for some of the rarest birds and insects. And we're adjacent to Buffalo River State Park and the Nature Conservancy Bluestem Prairie. Together, some of the best tallgrass prairie habitat in the world. The other end of the spectrum was the golf course and the abandoned farmland we call the Houston property.
Those contiguous properties, thousands and thousands of acres, is a textbook example of connecting those fragmented pieces.
And so the trust fund provided the ability to restore 160 acres all at once and see the effects of that large-scale restoration. Part of that was turning the golf course back into prairie.
Different types of chemicals are utilized regularly on a golf course, but the stumbling block for us was heavy metal contamination. Ultimately, we would do this planting over the top of these areas and not disturb those areas.
Try to clip as close to the soil as possible. Once we got everything lined up to begin the restoration, the fun really began in terms of our collaboration with the DNR. They're the ones that actually brought the machinery out, did the planting, did the maintenance in terms of mowing and even burning. Their undergraduates got a chance to see professionals in the field doing what they do best and what might be possible for their futures.
One of the primary goals of this project was monitoring what we did. So the education component and the management of the site continues.
It really revolutionized our curriculum. Now, projects that students are involved in range from soil microbial diversity to small mammal surveys, to bird surveys, to looking at plant productivity. And with plant diversity, students will bring out a meter square and quantify every single species in that meter every single year in the same location to look for how the restoration is responding to changes over time.
We also serve as a research site for other universities. We've had professional scientists from the Nature Conservancy utilize our site, and our students benefit from that.
Because of the time and the resources, my students were able to enroll our site into the Nutrient Network, the Global Grassland Research Cooperative. We are one of just 2 or 3 other undergraduate institutions in this network of over 130 sites around the world. This really legitimizes the protocols that we're using. Over the years, my students have gotten very excited about native plants and pollinators. And so they have taken the initiative to talk to the university about planting native species on campus and have established 3 different sites. That's how I see the power of a project like this. And that really inspires me.
We felt very strongly about engaging the broader area to help folks understand how the project is going. There are public programs that take place on our site, and we collaborate with Buffalo River State Park to present interpretive or education programs for the public. Because this project was made possible by the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, it is critical that what we learn from this project be brought back to the citizens of Minnesota, because it is the citizens of Minnesota that have funded this project.